Hey guys, it's your boy BabyBrain78. Yeah, don't mind me, I'm just casually making a video while I'm driving because why not? I felt like it, so I'm just making a spontaneous video for reasons. Anyways, let's talk about the meaning of life. What's the meaning of life, you ask? I don't know. Is there actually any meaning to life, really? I feel like it's really subjective in the sense where, like, the only way that we actually have a purpose is if a God existed, which imbued humanity with our own purpose. Because if a God doesn't exist and we're just like byproducts of evolution in an empty void of the universe, then you know how evolution, like Charles Darwin, like he kind of painted evolution as being this ruthless, kind of heartless view, whereas it's like the law of the jungle is pretty much all there is, since that's how evolution works. Like the strongest dominates and everything else and passes on the genes and blah blah blah. Then if that were the case, then it would mean for a pretty meaningless, or not necessarily meaningless, because the meaning is the cruel law of the jungle's strongest survival of the fittest mentality. But I mean, it would be like pretty cool, where basically the only things that we're meant to do in life is be alive, eat, drink, reproduce, and pass on our genes and die, hopefully. However, but then if there is a God, particularly the Christian God or any other God, then our purpose would basically be their, like what they teach in their religious text. And then if it were true, then we would be morally obligated to try to align our nature with that purpose / philosophy, since this is the God we're talking about, who is capable of everything, and if so desires, can wipe us out in an instant. So yeah, we're basically holds us hostage, where we have to follow in his footsteps or else death. Okay, of course I'm exaggerating here, but there's a hyperbole. But maybe you know what I mean. Like basically, if a God existed, then we would be more than obligated to follow their philosophy, because you know they're the one who designed the universe. So it makes sense that they're the one who gives it a purpose. But then, let's say that the God doesn't exist and we're just left with our own devices in basically a universe that has no purpose, which means that we don't have a purpose. What would that mean? That like there is no meaning to life. We should all just give up and die. It's pretty depressing. So my response to that is, I feel like we had many historical figures in history that have come up with their own philosophies and attempts to try to figure out the world. Like for example, Plato or Aristotle, they came up with their own philosophies of how to try to live a good life. With Aristotle, it was being like having traits that are kind of like the gold. Well, what's the word? The golden in between. Like for example, his traits, you shouldn't be too angry, but then you also shouldn't be too passive. So like the virtue is the in between, where you're very calm, but you're able to like have access to anger in good moments, like for example, righteous anger, getting angry when someone is being abused or a child is being raped or something like that, and also having the anger to stand up for yourself and stuff like that. Another example would be like maybe like not being too careful, so that you never take any risks, or also don't be too reckless, because I think that can speak for itself. You know, you can be so impulsive that you accidentally kill yourself over some like rash decision. You know what I mean? So anyways, there's that, and then there's like Plato and other philosophies like idealism, nihilism, and like Marxism, Nazism, which I strongly don't encourage, but I'm just giving examples out there. And what other ones? Existentialism, there's that, and objectivism, like all these kind of philosophies. If there's like no inherent given purpose that we've, as human beings, like have been born with, based on our time in the universe, other than just the evolutionary live, die, pass on genes, repeat, then I feel like it's totally valid to come up with our own purpose, because, and well why shouldn't we? Because if there's no purpose, it's not like we're transgressing any moral law saying that we're like overriding something else that we shouldn't, that's already there, that we shouldn't be messing with. Because if there's no meaning in life, then that makes philosophy very subjective, and we can basically just create our own. However, there's an issue with this. If this brings me to moral relativism, because if there's like if everyone's basically free to come up with any purpose they want through life, for example, like someone might have, like someone's life purpose might be drugs, or someone's life purpose might be chasing after money, or other. There's that. If we're free to come up with our own purpose, then I'm afraid there might be people who just rationalize despicable actions, and then they decide, well, you have to respect my beliefs because because it's none of my business if yours are different from mine, because mine is no more true than the other. But then that kind of takes away responsibility for our morality. We should come up with our own purposes, but then I'm also kind of judgmental in the sense where I want us to have morally decent kind of purpose. Hold on a second. Wait, actually, now that I think about it, how do we even tell that something is moral? Because I've come to realize in the past that I used to think that our morality was developed from evolution or philosophy, and that but that's the reason why we're like more aware of like social injustices today than we were in the past, where there was like where we were kind of like more barbaric, or torture methods would include sawing someone's head in half while they're still alive, or poking someone in the booty with a stick and impaling them through it. Very graphic stuff I don't want to get into, but I thought that, but then like there's an instinctive kind of repulsion to within all cultures. Hopefully, if not, then they're probably, I wouldn't know why they're. Anyways, the moral repulsion or from between like rape or like child pornography, that kind of stuff. So if that's the case, like what makes us instinctually repulsive to that? Like, was there? I don't think there was ever a point in our lives where like in humanity's history, or someone would rape a child or people would like dehumanize other humans. I mean the gender, and while those people might have said it was okay, I don't think it was objectively okay in a sense. I'm not sure if I'm just saying that because of our new culture of not accepting it anymore, or if it was actually like morally repugnant in the past and we just chose to ignore it. But I've always felt like there's like a hard-coded core of ethics that was embedded into the universe since the very beginning. And like knowledge, it's not like we were like ignorant, like knowledge, we were ignorant in the past, but then over time we kind of like gained more knowledge and realized that the things we learned in the past were bullocks. I feel like the same could be said for morals, where in the past we were like more evil, but like we didn't know better. But now, like, because we're being more aware of it, we've come to realize that it needs to be taken more seriously. So then, but then how is that? Why were there people in the past who actually like saw those actions as bad, or did we were we all like degenerates and we all like thought it was a good way of living, which I highly doubt. But I'm pretty sure there's definitely good people in the past who condemned those kinds of things. But then what embedded us with that spirit, which I think leads us to there being a God who actually like gave us like all of those kind of hard-coded morals and stuff. I just realized I'm going on a tangent, so apologies about that. I just went from the meaning of life to whether they're like to questioning our morals and like where it came from. But so anyways, I wonder. Okay, I'm at work now, so now I can stop the car. So anyways, big question. So to kind of summarize from what I said before, there's different alternatives. Alternative one, there is a God, and the God is responsible for giving us our purpose, and we should be morally obligated to follow in that purpose because they pretty much designed us. It's like a person who made a hammer. They're a person who made the hammer. Their hammer's purpose would be to hammer nails and do that kind of stuff. Same in the sense where God designed us and gave us a purpose, so we should basically try to follow in the purpose, because otherwise we would be, like we would be useless. We wouldn't work. So there's that alternative. Alternative two, there is no God, which means there is no purpose in the universe, and basically there's no meaning to life, and we just exist. But which kind of in evolutionary terms is to say that our purpose is to live and pass on genes and then die and nothing more. But I think there's all there is to that. So that's why it leads me to kind of, it gives us reign to come up with our own purposes. But then if we do that, that gives people free reign to come up with whatever twisted morals they choose. But like, for example, like if that would basically excuse Hitler or Stalin from killing all those Jews and all the genocides in history from happening, because they come up with their purpose. So who am I to judge? It's perfectly okay. There's no meaning in life. We can do whatever we want. No consequences. No. So that gives me the issue of like but that leads me to the issue of like, we see those as repugnant, but then if there's no purpose, then how do we even tell that they're good and evil? How do we see certain actions as good or evil if there's no God to even give that meaning? Did we get our morals from the Bible from way back, and we kind of branched out from that and kind of mistakenly assumed that the morals we have now is a result of our own kind of evolutionary process instead of what we learned from God's inherent, like, kind of hard-coded teachings into us? Or that, like, if there was no God, then how did we generate morals in the first place? If you take a look at animals, like, they're pretty, there's arguably some animals who actually like have some empathy, like for example elephants, they'll mourn for their young, but the vast majority of animals, they're pretty ruthless. Basically, if your prey is either run away or get eaten, and if you're a predator, then eat or die. It's a pretty, like, kind of vicious cycle. So then what separates humans from these animals? Like, what makes us different from them? Because if we say our morals are developed from evolution, then why don't those animals have the same moral consciousness that we have? There must be something responsible, something else that's responsible for it. If there's no God, then that might mean that we develop the morals from philosophy and reason. But then it feels like killing and all that other stuff, even without, there are many people who like aren't philosophy, like who aren't like very into philosophy like I am, but they'll like still see killing as bad or rape as bad, all that kind of stuff. So then if it's not philosophy, then what is it? Because it feels like there's like some kind of like instinct in us that kind of like sees between right and wrong. And of course there are exceptions, like people without empathy, like narcissists or sociopaths, they won't see the difference between right and wrong, so they'd usually do whatever. But then we on the outside would see those things as evil, which kind of makes us think about the cultures who rationalize evil, things we see as evil, but they see as okay, but then from the outside we see as objectively bad. This is making my head hurt. So what I'm trying to get here is, like, for example, 1984, the novel, people in that culture, like, we lived in a dystopia where like all these evil things was happening. This dictator was kind of twisting history and truth in a way where we believe that evil is the right thing to do, falsehood is awesome. But then we, the readers, we see that and we're like, what the heck is this bollocks? This is ridiculous. Who would live? This is a terrible place to live in. And okay, and so then I wonder, like, if we see things as okay here, like people did in the past, but then like we in the future we look back and say that those were terrible. I feel like we don't have the complete picture. Maybe there is a God where, like, we don't have a complete grasp of what is right and wrong. We might think things are right in our own eyes, but then God, the one who's like all-knowing, he's able to see these things and knows that they're sinful and kind of, you know, bad. And same with, like, and even if there's a God, there might be, just like knowledge, that we might not be getting the whole picture in the sense where we're not having a good idea of what is right and wrong in the grand scheme of things. So, like, maybe is our morals as a result from God or our own generation of it? It's a really tough one to answer. Because I'm starting to kind of lean that a God exists, because otherwise, the only explanation that we could have for why we see things as right and wrong would be, you know, like maybe something in our DNA. I don't know. I'm starting to get confused myself. But then again, I'm kind of making this video as sort of a debate chamber, kind of like bounce my ideas off of YouTube and see how you guys respond in the comment section, and to see what you guys think. But pardon me, I might be wrong. I need to kind of learn more history and psychology to kind of get a better grasp of what I'm talking about. But so far, I'm thinking, and there's a very good possibility that our morals are as a result from some higher power that kind of embedded with us a hard-coded sense of right and wrong, and things that we inherently know, if not intuitively grasp. Because I don't think we were monsters in the beginning, or maybe we were. I'm not sure. Okay, I kind of backed myself into a logical corner. So there's two alternatives. One, God exists, embedded with us our morals. Option two, we come up with there's a meaning, we come up with our own, but then we still see the difference between right and wrong. But then where does that purpose come from? And that's what's making me confused. I'm confused now. Great. I have lost track. Okay, and this video is getting way too long. I should probably stop before I just I kind of confuse myself further and not get anywhere. So I'll end this video now. I'll make a update later on, or maybe update and then add it to this video. And let's see what you guys think. Try to I don't want to be dogmatic. You guys think for yourselves. But what do you guys have to say about it? Say in the comment section, and try to give some critique on what I'm saying, and so forth. So anyways, what time is it? Okay, jeez, I gotta get to work because my shift is calling me. So anyways, have a great rest of your day, and see ya.